Welcome to the Video Creators Podcast. We help YouTube creators grow their audience and business with next-level tactics and strategies. Want to accelerate your channel's momentum, be more profitable, and change the lives of more people than ever before? You're in the right place. The Video Creators team has over a decade of experience providing YouTube strategy for brands like Disney, Warner Brothers, HBO, and even YouTube themselves. So far, our team is responsible for helping clients generate over 17 billion views on YouTube. And now, to help you, here's Tim, Lennon, and Delana.
Hello creators, it's great to see you guys again for another Video Creators Podcast episode like we do here every Monday. My name is Tim Schmoyer and I'm by myself, Lennon and Delana. Well, Lennon doesn't work here anymore. He started his own business, so we got to update that intro for you guys still. And Delana is doing some client work, so I am here just to share with you guys a new idea I wanted to experiment with for a concept for a podcast type of series that I'm thinking about doing. So we're going to do a little experiment here today and see what you guys think and how it goes. What I want to talk with you guys about today, before I get into the format, is clarity. It is the most important thing for growing your YouTube channel and your business on so many different levels. Clarity for you, clarity for your audience, clarity for your sales process, clarity for how you're going to continue to grow, clarity on how you communicate, so many different things. And today I want to go behind the scenes a little bit more and share with some of the mistakes I've made in my business and what that looks like both on the channel and the business, because this is the thing. Like when I look back on what got me to $100,000 in revenue through our business and 100,000 subscribers on our channel versus $1 million in annual revenue versus and a much larger channel. What are the key things? Because a lot of people get to 100,000 in revenue or subscribers. I want to say relatively easily. They work hard for it, but that's a common thing to do. A much bigger and more harder objective to hit is that $1 million in terms of channel and revenue size. And so what are those different things? I think we can boil it all down to clarity. I want to explain a little bit what that means here today and give you 4 areas where you can gain more clarity on what that should look like for you and what I've learned going from 6 figures to 7 figures in our business and growing beyond that. But first, let me explain this format we're gonna try here today. So I in terms of full disclosure, am now an investor in this app called Volley, and I'm an advisor to them. And one of the things I love about this app is that it's not just like one-way communication, and it's not just like small group communication. It's like it enables literally thousands of people to get together and have this massive video chat asynchronously, which means we can all just kind of talk whenever we have time and jump into the conversation. There's no Zoom meetings to schedule or anything like that. You can listen on double speed really quickly and then take a couple seconds to respond, and the conversation keeps going. I've done a whole episode about it already, and it's just been transformative for our business in terms of how we serve clients and how we do group coaching programs and one-on-one coaching and consultations and even internal team communication. Everything's allowed us to 5x our capacity without hiring a single person and serve people better and and have a clearer, more flexible schedule and calendar and everything. It's just been awesome. But there is I do have a space in there for us creators called Volley for Creators, and there's almost, I think, just shy of 400 people in there as of this recording right now. And what I'm doing in there is a mostly weekly, maybe. I'm going to try it as an experiment, see how it goes, where I have a channel inside of that space called Volley for Creators called Creator Thoughts with Tim. And in there, I'm going to get in there semi-regularly and just be like, hey guys, here's a thought I have. Here's some ideas I have around how do we grow more successful and fruitful businesses and YouTube channels and grow our audience, reach more people, change more lives with what we're doing here through our creative efforts. And so I want to take the recording of one of those and share them with you here. Now, if you're listening to the audio only version, totally fine, but I did this on my phone just in front of my whiteboard and just wrote out some points and things. And so if you want to watch the video version, you can go to YouTube, or better yet, there's a link in the show notes of this episode that will take you straight to that channel, or not to the channel, but to that space, the Volley for Creators space inside of Volley. You can tap that link, and it'll take you a few seconds, create a quick account. It'll be right in that space, several hundred other YouTube creators. And the thing I love about this is that now there's video replies inside the app. So it's like a threaded conversation where I start it with this Volley, with this video, and then other people just reply to it. We have this back and forth conversation with screen sharing and voice only and video and text and GIFs and all this kind of stuff. Really make this a dynamic, engaging conversation. So this is kind of what I posted as the first step or the first Volley of like, here you go, guys. Like, here's some training. And it's not very long. It's only like 10 minutes long. But I wanted to share this recording with you guys here. I just downloaded it from Volley. I'm uploading it here so that you guys can experience a little bit of what's going on there and receive this as an invitation to come join us in that space on Volley. So I'm not sponsored, but for full disclosure, like I said, I am a shareholder now in the company just because I really believe in it, and I'm really excited about where it's going and seeing it have more potential to reach and change other people's businesses and their audiences and communities like it has mine. Instead of this kind of being like most communities in a Facebook group or in some other platform where you have a profile picture and a name, and then just some thoughts, and content just written out. It takes a little while to read, a lot longer to respond to, and the level of connection that happens on Volley is just phenomenal, because it's not just an icon and a name. Now it's like people connecting with people, right? And it's just been really great for our business. The communication has been so much faster. People stay engaged with the online courses that they're using Volley with for months on end. And yeah, it's just been a beautiful thing. So anyway, this isn't a pitch for Volley. I mean, it kind of feels that way now, but I didn't mean to do that. It was mostly just me wanting to kind of set some context here. And so tap the link down below. I'd love to hear you get engaged in your response to this conversation about how do we go from 6 figures to 7 figures, both on our channel and in our business, by gaining clarity in these 4 areas around our business. So let's cut to the recording of that now, and then I'll be back at the end with someone else's response and some other thoughts to share with you here. Well, here we go with our very first Creator Thoughts with Tim. I want to give you guys here just some updates and ideas and thoughts on how we can grow more successful YouTube channels and businesses and audiences to make it more fruitful for all of us here. And today I want to talk with you about this really big idea. It's very important that a lot of people, they don't get right, because they think that the way you grow a million subscriber YouTube channel or $1 million business is by doing a lot of things and having all these revenue streams. But it comes down to just one principle. And this is the thing that's holding almost every YouTube channel I work with back. This is the thing that is making it difficult for them to actually grow. This is the thing that's making it difficult for them to actually make money. And that is this here up on the top of my board: clarity. Okay, this issue of clarity. So what do I mean by that? Well, there's a couple different areas here where this really, really, really needs to be fixed in a lot of our businesses. And I've made most of these mistakes myself, which is why I know this. So first of all, we really need clarity on a brand level. Okay, so on a brand level, what that means is who is my business for? And what is the value I'm actually providing to them? I can't tell you how many times I will do a session with a YouTube creator, and I'll be like, okay, great. Like, the goal here, you want to get more views, you want to get more subscribers, you want to grow this. Like, all right, describe who are we going after here? Like, who's the audience that we're trying to attract? And then they tell me like this really generic idea of who this is, right? And it's just, and it's like, it's really hard to make anyone feel like, oh, this is for me. Like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. If it's not actually for them, right? And it's just kind of for this generic idea of people who are out there. So it really needs, the brand needs to be clear both on the YouTube channel as well as on your website. And when people are discovering you for the first time, who are you? What are you all about? And how quickly can someone feel like, oh, I'm in the right spot. This is for me, right? Number 2, we actually need a lot of clarity around our sales funnel, or some people call it like customer journey. I know those are different things, but for here we're gonna make them synonymous for this conversation. That is, like, what is the process someone takes to go through to get from step 1 to step 2 to step 3 to step 4 with you and your business to make a transaction, if that's the goal, or if it's to subscribe to the YouTube channel. What is that process. And most of us don't really have really good clarity around that. Basically, all that we're doing is we're like, well, I'm just gonna make good content and then hope someone goes to the next step. And it doesn't work that way. One of the things that holds a lot of creators back, like you, and this might sound, I don't mean this to sound insulting to anybody, it's relatively simple to get to $100,000 a year business through your YouTube channel. You can make a lot of mistakes and stumble forward, but to get to $1 million business is a very different approach. So way most people get to $100,000 is they end up growing a decent-ish size audience, and then they sell 13 different things to them. You can buy this course. You can hire me for consulting. This is exactly what I did, the mistakes I made, okay? So this is how I know. You can become a member on my YouTube channel. You can come over here to Patreon. You can buy Video Labs or Advanced Level or Jump Right, and there's just too many options, and people are just like, whoa, hold on, like what should I do? And that is the thing you want to eliminate, is this thought of like having your audience have to think, what do I want to do next here? As soon as they have to slow down and they have to think about it, that hesitation is what you want to remove. The only decisions they should be making is like, this looks amazing, how do I buy? That's it, right? Not like, oh wow, there's a whole bunch of different courses here or a lot of different options. What is the next step I take with them? And so I got to 6 figures in revenue here at Video Creators that way, of having all the different revenue streams. But the people who are making like $1 million businesses, it's not typically because they have 16 different revenue streams. It's because they do one. And they're the best in the world at one of them. It brings a lot of clarity to not only to the brand, but the main thing is like next steps for your audience to take with you. What is that next step? Think through it. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4. Remove anything else that competes. If there's like 2 different steps they could take, that's going to create confusion. Even on our landing pages, we not until recently have even offered the option for people to do payment plans, just because that's another decision people have to stop and think about. And then there's only one option, then that makes it clear. That's how they move forward to take the next step with you. Now we do have payment options available now for some of the higher level services that we're doing. You know, when you're charging more than $10,000 for something, it just helps business owners with cash flow more than anything else. So we do offer it now, but especially for entry level stuff and things coming up, it just needs to be very clear, what steps do they need to take with you? And if you're fuzzy on that, then your audience is definitely going to be fuzzy on that. Then number 3, we also need a lot of clarity over our objectives. So many different objectives here to talk about. Now for our business, we once a quarter have about 2-day meeting. It's on Zoom, which is a long time to be on Zoom, but when it's people with you like hanging out with, it's not as bad, right? So, and we spend 2 days just reflecting over the past quarter and then planning our objectives and our key results for the upcoming quarter. So objectives would be, what is the thing that just has to get done? Not has to get done. What is the thing that needs to be true about it? It's not like a task-oriented thing. It just needs to be like, this is a problem, and in this quarter we're going to focus on solving that. And then we will come up with what we call key results, which is like, all right, what are the things that must be true in order for this objective to be met? And those things always have a number in it. It's something that's very measurable and that we can see, are we getting closer to meeting this objective, yes or no? It's not like I think so or feel like there's numbers, metrics that tie to it, and you say, yes, we're getting there. It's kind of like if you were playing on a sports team and nobody understood what a win was. Like, how could your team move forward together? Even if you don't have a team, you're just working for yourself. How do you know if you're actually taking new ground and you're actually experiencing wins on your YouTube channel or in your business or whatever that you're creating if you don't have clarity over what the objective is? It's really important that a sports team defines what a win. There's a scoreboard up there and everyone can see it and we know, are we winning or are we not? That principle needs to translate to what we're doing in our YouTube channels and in our business. What's the objective? What's the thing I'm focused on fixing, changing, improving right now? Make it clearly defined, and then key results under it that help us define, are we moving towards that goal, yes or no, towards that objective, and then and by the end of the quarter that we can, or you can do it monthly. Our family does this too. There's my daughter right back there doing her homeschool. Wave, Hallie. So she's my 3rd grader working on math right now. But we do these as a family, right, Hallie? She's nodding her head, yes. Where every week, we only do monthly objectives with our family just because it's a little bit easier for younger kids to get their head around like a monthly objective than a quarterly objective. That, in our experience, has tended to be too big, and so we've made them monthly. So whichever works for you, like I'm not saying you're a child, it's just like whatever works for you. If it's monthly, or in our business we do quarterly, but the objectives need to be clear. If you want to grow your business, grow your channel, take new ground, and get ahead, you need to have clarity over what are the objectives that are going to get us there. Now, one other thought with this is that when we think about objectives, it can't just be like a list of things. We only tackle one each month as a family, or in our business, the maximum that we'll tackle is 3, but typically we do best with only 1 or 2. And that allows us to have a lot of focus and put all of our resources and our energy into just nailing that one thing. If you have too many objectives, it gets overwhelming. And then number 4 here, what we really need clarity on is communication. Right? If communication is poor, then people get frustrated. You get frustrated. People you're communicating with get frustrated. You waste a lot of time. There ends up being a lot of overhead. You're not really making efficient steps toward your objectives, and you end up spinning your wheels. And I think the number one problem that we have with communication, excuse me, and not being clear with that, is that people don't, like, for a perfect example. Okay, so like last week, I'm doing like a side project with a guy and just helping him out with some stuff. And he asked me to do some stuff. I did it and sent it back to him. And then his response to me, like, hey, thanks for doing this. Do you think you can just revisit this and make it better for next time? Or not next time, but like improve this stuff? And I'm like, no, I don't think I can actually. Like, just look at it and make it better. Like, I don't know what that means. What does better look like to you? Like, communicate with me more clearly. What do you want? What do you expect? And I think it's really important that when we communicate with, whether it's a video editor on our team or we're communicating with, just whoever, that, like, in order for the things to move forward efficiently, communication has to be good. And that's usually on us as the business owners, as the creators, the people who are trying to lead the way for this endeavor. It's on us to make sure that we're the ones who are communicating clearly. And that it's not just like hey, make it better, but like, this is what I loved, this is what I think should change, can you change this, right? And make it specific and make it clear, make it even like a checklist if it's appropriate for the context, something that someone can clearly say like, oh yes, this can change, this can be better. And so in order for us to really grow, we need clarity over, I think, all 4 of these things. And I know each of those is like a big thing in and of themselves, but I think we can do it. And I want to hear from you how you're going to move forward in each of these things, and any other examples or stories that you can share with the rest of us that would help us gain more clarity in our brand, in our sales funnel, in the objectives we're setting, and how we're winning, and our communication. Let's learn from each other. I'm looking forward to seeing your replies to this and really learning from each other, inspiring each other to move forward in our businesses so we don't get just stuck at $100,000 businesses, but that we can move forward to $1 million businesses and reaching more people and changing their lives than ever before. So I'm looking forward to learning from you guys, and I'll see you here. Those 4 areas really are important, guys. As I think about us on a brand level, I mean, one of the things that we did in Video Creators is we keep narrowing in on who we're going after. Not the broadest audience possible, not the biggest YouTube channel possible, not the people that we could get the most amount of people into our online courses, but we answer that question like, who do we best serve? Who do we enjoy serving the best? Where do we do our best work? And so we have eliminated a lot of like the broadest audience of those who are just getting started on YouTube and trying to grow, and getting those people to pay for online courses and things. And instead of who we're going after now is we've really pivoted to go after the people who already have 10,000 to 100,000 subscribers on their channel. They've got a good start and they just feel like, I don't know how to get to that next level. I don't know how to get to the 1 million subscriber range. How do I do that from where I'm at and do that in a way that doesn't take nearly as long, as much effort? So that's where we come in and do our custom strategy with people and really help them move forward. So we have really narrowed in on a brand level who our target audience is. On a funnel level, We've also really narrowed in that as well. Like we have eliminated a lot of the products and services that used to perform really well and serve people really well, but it just added more confusion in terms of like which steps should I take next with video creators. And so we've eliminated a lot of them, trying to make it a very clear 1, 2, 3 step. And if you go to our homepage right now at videocreators.com, it's just all book a consultation. Like that's the only, now if you get to the very bottom, there will be some other options there, but we're just trying to make it very clear. What do I do next with this brand? When I'm watching a YouTube video, what action do you want me to take next? So we are just like, let's get into a 1-hour call. Don't spend all your money on this really big strategy, custom data analysis thing that we could do for you. Let's just do we find that most people get everything they need in just a 1-hour conversation. That's it, right? And then they can move on, and that's good enough to accept them for the next at least 3 months, but sometimes in the next year. So we're like, let's not sell you the big thing. Let's just jump into an hour call. Let us come show you what we can do in 1 hour and blow your mind, and then talk about the bigger thing if you feel like you need it at that point. So just really focusing people on that. That's our first step. And by the way, go to videocreators.com/consulting to schedule a 1-hour session with me or someone on my team to sit down and look at your channel and help you with those next steps. Especially if you are one of those people who feel like you're stuck at somewhere between that 10,000 to 100,000 subscriber range. Even we have people who feel stuck at 800,000 subs too. We help them get to millions, but it's just really I know what I know got me this far, and I don't think this is going to get me to the next level. It got me to this point, but it's not what I need to get further. So that's where that's where we jump in with people. In terms of business objectives, I just want to reemphasize one is great. we try to do too many, and it feels like it's just really hard to move forward when you have more than one, two. When the objectives each quarter are just fuzzy and they're unclear, we just end up growing haphazardly. We feel like we're growing, but we're not really sure. It's hard to measure other than the bank account, and that's a very valid and probably the most important metric to ultimately go by. But as you grow, there's more things you need to look at and consider besides that, and so it's just really important to clearly define what are you going to move forward and take new ground. And then the communication, we do a lot of checklists here. I mentioned that, but we call them SOPs, and it helps people know how to move forward with their work, but then also where things are breaking down, and we can kind of identify those things a little bit better too as well. But in terms of communication too, like what I mentioned in the beginning, Volley has been absolutely hands down the most valuable tool we have used so far in my business in terms of communication with people, with clients, and everything. So we're going to invite you to join this conversation. There are literally, as of right now, almost just shy of 400. I think it was 397 other creators in there, and we're all going to be having this ongoing video-based conversation about it, asynchronous, which means we're not all chatting at the same time, but we're just kind of hopping in. We have time, leave a quick video message, and hearing what other people are saying, and it kind of turns into the after show. I'm a part of another space on Volley that uses this with their podcast audience, and people listen to the podcast and then they get in Volley and discuss it and they interact, and people get to know each other. Listeners are getting to know each other. The hosts are getting to know people, and I'm like, wonder what that looked like for us. So that's what I'm trying here. So you can tap the link in the show notes or in the description of this video if you're watching on YouTube. And I got a URL shortener. I just got the domain volleyforcreators.com. So if you're listening to this, just try tapping that into your phone, volleyforcreators.com. It'll have a little welcome video there for you for some rules, and a button that you'll just click to create an account, and you'll be right in. And just once you're in there, go to the Creator Thoughts with Tim channel, and you'll see this episode here just delivered. And we're looking forward to hearing your thoughts and your ideas as you guys think through it and process it. So a little bit of a shorter episode for you guys this week. Just run a little experiment. I think in the future, if I try this again, I'll have my original volley, but then I want to include other people's volleys. I don't have permission from everyone else for this one, but start including some of that here as well. So you guys can also hear not only the original training, the original episode, but then some of the back and forth that goes on and some other thoughts that people are contributing. And hopefully we can make this podcast feel just a little bit like a one-way conversation and more like a group conversation where we're all learning from each other, and it's like a community-driven thing. So I'm looking forward to trying this as an experiment. So go leave your thoughts, and I will see you guys on Volley. and here for the next podcast episode as well, as we do this every Monday for you. Subscribe if you haven't already. Leave us a review, podcast, iTunes podcast, Apple Podcasts, they call it now. It'd be really helpful for us. And here I just broke my own principle of only giving you one clear step, which was volley, and then I added the review thing. I just broke my own rule. It's so easy to do, isn't it? We'll see you guys around. See you guys next week. Bye.